Welcome. So today we are going to do a little creative activity with the things they carried. So you will need your book and something to write with. So the first thing I want to talk about is literacy. So I want you to think about what is literacy to you? Literacy is defined as being able to understand what you read. It also means being able to communicate your ideas clearly to other people. In many ways, a written text is like a conversation. You must listen to what it has to say and respond to what you've understood as you've read the book. I'm going to quickly go over a few poetry terms for the activity today, and then I will explain what you're going to do. Please refer back to the slideshow or this video if you need to go over these terms again. So the first term is imagery. Imagery refers to the pictures which we perceive with our mind's eyes, ears, tongue, nose, skin, and through which we experience the duplicate world created by poetic language. So it's the experiences, really, the knowledge that we have that is activated by certain word choice. A poet uses words or words of color and touch in addition to figures of speech. As well, concrete details that appeal to the reader's senses are used to build up images. Diction refers to the use and choice of words or phrases in writing or speech. So we make the decision if we're going to use positive or negative words. A simile is a figure of speech that makes a comparison showing similarities between two different things. A simile draws resemblance with the help of the words like or as. Therefore, it's a direct comparison. A metaphor, on the other hand, is a figure of speech in which a word or phrase literally denoting one kind of object or idea is used in place of another to suggest a likeness or an analogy between them. So, for example, he was drowning in money. He's not literally drowning in money, but it brings to mind and makes a direct comparison. Personification is a figure of speech in which a thing, an animal, or an idea is given human attributes. Alliteration is repeating the same sounds at the start of words, so repeating consonant sounds. Stellar students synthesize sweet sentences is repeating that S sound. Assonant is the repetition of a vowel sound. True, I do like Sue. Consonants is repetitive sounds produced by consonants within a sentence or a phrase. This repetition often takes place in quick succession, like pitter-patter. Onomatopoeia is a word that imitates a sound, like buzz. Rhyme and rhythm. A poem can have kind of a musical quality to it, kind of a sing-songiness. So the example here is Moses supposes his toes are roses, but Moses supposes erroneously. For nobody's toes are poses of roses, as Moses supposes his toes to be. So there's a sing-songness to it. With end rhyme, the last word of each line rhymes with another word at the end of a line. And with internal rhyme, the words within a line would rhyme. So poems don't have to have any rhyming or rhythm. So today what you're going to do is create some poetry graffiti for the things they carried. This is a summative. So I'm going to use the first chapter as an example. For your literary graffiti, you could use any of the chapters that we have read, or you could look at the book as a whole. Some things I like to go over are things that I noticed. I like to look at the title of the chapter, think about the tone of the chapter, if there are any poetic elements or any groupings I can make. So for the first chapter, it focuses on the literal things that the men carried, as well as the invisible things. And this is done surrounding the event of Ted Lavender's death when they stopped for tunnel duty. The title of the chapter is The Things They Carried, which is supported throughout the story or throughout the chapter by tangible and intangible baggage. In the chapter, O'Brien talks about the things soldiers carry with them. It helps kind of explain why they carry what they do, interspersed with stories about Ted Lavender's death and the blame that Lieutenant Cross felt for Lavender's death, and tunnel duty, which is why the men were at the location where Lavender was killed. The tone of the chapter is very matter-of-fact. I did find poetic elements like onomatopoeia, consonants, personification, and simile. So the next question is, what do I do with this? So I'm going to create literary graffiti. This combines the process of drawing with analytical thinking about a text. So I'm asking you to use graffiti, like symbols, drawings, shapes, and colors, to construct a graphic of the book. So you want to symbolically illustrate your interpretation of the text and support it with specifics from the book. So your literary graffiti will look like this. You will come up with a theme statement. If you're not sure how to do that, please refer to the slideshow on how to write a theme statement. You will create a picture that illustrates your theme statement. This is not a scene from the book at all. It is a picture that uses images and color to represent and illustrate the theme. Then you're going to explain your picture and how your picture illustrates the theme, even if it seems obvious. And the last step is to explain how the picture connects to the book. So I did an example, okay? I wrote a theme statement, and then I answered the question, what is O'Brien saying about war or about guilt? I took the example, what is O'Brien saying about burdens or things that we worry about? Okay, so people carry obvious as well as hidden burdens that impact their day-to-day lives. So once I have my theme statement, then step 2 is to draw a picture that represents the theme statement. So again, this is not a picture of a scene from the book. It might be tempting, but while the theme statement applies to this book, a theme statement should be universal, so it can apply to many other stories as well. So consider using, again, shapes, objects, images, and color to symbolize your theme statement. So this is a picture of my theme statement. So again, my theme statement was that people carry obvious as well as hidden burdens that impact their day-to-day lives. So I drew a picture of a woman carrying groceries, and on her mind are many different things like work, her calendar of events, worrying about her kids. Are they happy? Do they have enough? Worrying about money. So just a few things. And then step 3 is to explain your picture. So explain how the picture represents the theme statement, not the book at this point. So you're just explaining how it represents the sentence that you wrote. Now, my explanation is pretty basic. I would recommend explaining the images a bit more and talking about the use of color and how that represents the theme as well. Step 4, the last step, is to explain how the picture connects to the book. So again, my explanation was a little bit basic. I would again explain how the picture you drew connects specifically to the book. So I said that my picture relates to chapter 1 of the things they carried because it shows someone, under a physical burden with tangible objects. She's got, bags of groceries and bags on her shoulders, as well as the invisible, the mental, intangible worries, burdens that she carries as she goes about her day. Regardless, she's expected to go on and get things done, just like the soldiers and the things they carried. So, we saw them having to, call in for a helicopter to take away the deceased, their friends. And yet they were expected to just kind of continue on with their missions. We see that with Rat Kiley. We see that with Kurt Lemon. Rat Kiley, under mental duress, is expected to continue his duties as a medic, and that becomes a lot for him to handle. So again, make those specific connections to the book. So this is what mine looked like overall. Again, I was very deliberate about the colors I used, as well as, what I chose to draw. And again, the picture has absolutely nothing to do with the book when you just first glance at it, but it's in my explanation, and how that ties to our burdens that the connection is made. So again, here are the steps that you need to complete on your sheet. This is due at the end of the hour. If you have any questions, please make sure that you ask. Good luck, everyone.